How do you shake off judgmental comments or unwanted advice? You're trying so hard to be there for your kids and do the best for them and for a family. You're putting so much effort in your job or a business. And in whatever few minutes you have left over here and there, you're trying to take care of yourself so that you don't burn out. And then somebody just makes a comment or gives you advice, and it's even worse, like if they mean it well, but you're like, what the heck? You don't see, you have no idea what's happening behind the scenes, and it feels like judgment. It feels like you feel misunderstood, because maybe if it was some hater online, you can shake it off. You can put on Taylor Swift song and you will just shake it off. But what if that judgment or unwanted advice comes from somebody who's close? And you're like, you should know better. What are you doing? And this is not even about what do you do with toxic relationships and if it's coming from your parents or your friends, and maybe there's even more abuse, emotional abuse going on, and you're like, no, I'm cutting you off. But I'm talking about what do you do with that feeling inside when you keep playing that conversation on repeat and you keep hearing their voice in their head and you're feeling this is so unfair and this really hurts me, and it not only makes me angry, but it even makes me feel sad, because who else should have my back than you people? And so if I don't have you and all you do is judge me despite my best efforts, then like where does that leave me? So how do you shake this off? How do you process these emotions so that you don't spend your hours, the next hours and days walking around feeling like you have their own emotional vomit and judgment sticking onto you? Sorry for the graphic. And it's just like, how do you take a mental, emotional shower so that you can let it slide and let it go to the drain and the gutter where it belongs? And you feel like you can breathe again so that you don't walk around with those things on you and then throw it on your kids because you are so stressed out by that and you feel like, you're in a grumpy mood because of that. How? How do we do that? Well, this is what we are going to unpack together in this episode of the Zen Supermom Podcast, because I feel this being able to face off and kind of like create your own calm bubble of peace, no matter who is throwing what at them, being able to even show them the mirror, like whatever judgment or advice you are trying to project on me, most often this is just a mirror on what's happening inside of you. How can you stay above and keep your peace no matter what's happening with everybody else? That's one of the most important skills for your own mental clarity, and also not just so that you don't burn out and completely collapse under all of this pressure to make all of these people happy and like you, but then also important skills our kids need to see, right? I want my daughter to see how I manage all of this blah, blah, blah around so that she can be resilient one day. She can keep her self-confidence. And of course, take constructive feedback from people who constructed something, right? Be open to feedback, but then also know how to separate the things that are just judgments and totally reflection of somebody else's nonsense, so that she can stay strong in knowing who she is and not being swayed and not being kicked to the side by that sadness and grief, like people who should know better, they actually hurt me the most. So how to be immune and how to clean off any of that blah coming from outside so that you don't have to carry it around. Yes, let's do this. Let's go. Hi, I'm Alena, and I'm a mommy tantrum specialist because I used to be a specialist at yelling at my daughter and having uncontrollable mommy tantrums with huge emotions, anger I couldn't, even with my smart logical brain who knew all the parenting scripts and who knew I shouldn't be yelling, I could not help it and it was coming out anyways. So of course, at those times, I was very sensitive to judgment from the outside and unsolicited advice, like when people try to tell me what to do without me asking them for help. I was very sensitive to that because I was already judging myself so much for being a mamazilla and yelling. But what was surprising that even afterwards, even when I stopped yelling and I rewired all those generational patterns in my nervous system and I became a calm mom who could stay focused even when drama was going on, I was still very sensitive to whenever I felt people were making unfair comments. Yeah. And something was not like the injustice of it. Yeah. And so I just got reminded of that. I had a final consultation with a client who was finishing in our Zen Supermom program, and she was in a similar situation. So after 3 months of generational rewiring of her nervous system, she's okay now. She's a single mom of 3, and she's stopped yelling. She can stay calm and focus, help them listen and cooperate more. So all that was great, but she was saying, well, my next challenge is the relationship with my mom, because she's making comments that are not only helping, it's the opposite, and it's making me upset, and it's not helping also with my kids because she's judging my kids. And so she was like, yeah, I need to learn how to apply everything I learned on this relationship with my mom, because I'm at the crossroads. I'm thinking about, well, do I cut her off because she's too toxic? Or how do I react to her? Because it seems like I have only 2 options. Either I shut up and become the people pleaser and let her dump on me and just say like, yeah, for the sake of keeping peace and having at least some level of relationship. Like, do I shut up and just let her say her things and then suffer in silence? How unfair this is. Or, which is like in between the other extreme, or do I defend myself, but then it becomes a fight and argument because we don't agree on some of these things, yeah? And what it reminded me of was even deeper aspect of this, because have you ever been in that situation when you had this kind of discussion with somebody and you felt like this is so not fair? And if it was some hater on the outside, you could just like shake it off, right? Put on Taylor Swift, start dancing, and you're like, whatever, this is just some anonymous witch with the bee. And like, what does she know about my life? How does she dare judging me? She knows nothing, and let's just forget about her. But if it's somebody in your closer circle, your parent, your friends, your close colleagues, somebody who should know better than judge you or put some assumptions, they should know better about who you are, how hard you're trying, and all your best efforts and best intentions and how much you care, right? They should know better than this. And you keep thinking about it. You keep playing those conversations on a replay in your head. And it's like it takes hours, and then you even go to sleep and you wake up the next day and you're still having this feeling like, I didn't deserve this. How dare they? And struggling with knowing, like, what do I say? Do I say anything? Do I switch the conversation on a different topic, let it pass? Or do I go and set the boundary? Like, what should be even those boundaries if you don't want to totally break that relationship and you're afraid, well, if I say anything, they're going to get defensive and they will say, well, it's just, you see, you're getting defensive and it just proves my point. It's like, right? So how do we clean that emotionally from our system? What do you do with that? Yeah. This is when I went back. So this mom I just talked to, like, 1-2 days ago, she just inspired me to actually think back, like, how did I do it? Because I didn't even realize what I was doing, like how I was dealing with that judgment. And so I tried to go back and reconstruct the path. And this is what I want to share with you now, yeah? Because the first thing that we need to talk about, you need to realize is, go back to that conversation that still is replaying in your head and focus on how did that make you feel? Yeah. How did that make you feel that this person who's supposed to be so close, they're supposed to know you, they're supposed to see how hard you're trying and how much effort and how much you care, how much thought, energy, and attention you're putting into this, and they made this snappy judgment or whatever bullshit comment anyways. How did that make you feel? Yeah. Is it not heard? Is it like not good enough? Is it this unfairness, this injustice? What was it? Yeah. Because then once you have that, then we need to go back to your own childhood, This is where I'm talking about generational nervous rewiring, because if it is so strong that you keep thinking about it for hours, even the next day or even the next week or month, it's because it touched something deeper inside of you. Yeah, that's why you cannot shake it off Taylor Swift style. Yeah, you cannot shake it off because in that moment it reacted like a time machine. Whatever comment they made, they pushed on one of your buttons, and that button like activated the time machine going all the way back to your past. And the faster that time machine worked, the more it would indicate, or the stronger the signal would be, that there was something painful happening to you, even like very early on. Yeah. So this is what I did. And once when I was working with these kind of feedbacks myself before, I realized that for me, it was going all the way back to my relationship with my mom, who was, and again, this is not like about throwing our parents under the bus, okay? Our parents did the best they could. I love my mom. Like, I need to do this kind of disclaimer. I love my mom. My mom is still the hero on the pedestal, okay? But what was happening when I was little? My mom was high achiever, controller, perfectionist with super like 1000% standards. Okay, so doing even 100%, not good enough. Yeah, it's like you have to try for the infinite percent perfection. Yeah, like in other words, you can never get there no matter how hard I try. Yeah, so I remember several situations in my childhood when I was trying to help her, because she was so busy, so stressed out, running around, trying to do so many things at the same time, not having really too much mental space to see me or to, like I did not feel seen really. I felt like, I'm there next to her, we are talking, but she was so caught up in her own emotions, she didn't have the time to connect with mine and to see what's going on for me in a way. Yeah. And if she did, it was just like on the surface level. And so I very early on learned how to start helping her, that if I would help her doing all these things, because her to-do list was never ending, so then she would have more time, like extra time, and then she could actually like sit down and see me and have a conversation or read a book or give me a cuddle or something. So I became little mommy's helper. But then I remember I have several visual memories about when I was like putting the laundry on the line to make it dry, and how she would go and she would let me do the socks and underwear. And then I did it and I felt so proud. I probably was just like 4 or 5 years old. And then she would come and she would turn all the other way around. Or just like she would flip it. She did it in a different way, put the pegs in a different way. And she said, it's okay, you don't know how to do that because you're little, but your dad, when he's doing it, he's doing complete mess. He should know better. And you would think like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, this is normal situation, right? But how it made me feel was I went from being proud of myself in 1 second and being so happy that I'm helping mom and being so like anticipating that I just saved her at least some time so she will have some time to spend with me. But the moment she did that, I went from proud to not good enough. She had to correct it. I did it wrong. So even my best efforts were not enough. I need to try harder. And she still doesn't see me. There was still not the reward, the thank you, the smile, because she was still go, and this is not good and I have to do it again. And there were several situations like this. Yeah. And this is what I'm always telling people, like, if you had a traumatic childhood, no joke, this will look like, what the hell are you talking about, lady? You should be so happy you even had 2 parents and happy, safe home. Absolutely. That's why I did that disclaimer. I'm not complaining about my childhood, but we need to realize and be very, very conscious of it and just say it the way it is. This is the root. Whatever similar, if there was something similar going on for you, whatever memory you pulled out from your brain and nervous system, this is the root of your sensitivity to judgment, of why it hurts so much. Even though like logically you would be like, oh, stop thinking about it. Like, come on, she just doesn't know better. Those are idiot people or like whatever. Like, just stop thinking about it and live my life. You can't do that because it's connecting to that old pain of that little girl who felt it once upon a time, that she's not good enough, no matter how hard she tries. That's why it stings. That's why it's so painful. That's why it feels like putting salt in a raw wound. Because that wound is still there. It's still open. Does that make sense? Take a breath. Yeah? Now, the good news is, because my point here is not to re-traumatize anybody or suddenly like paint your childhood all black because your parents were evil and they traumatized you for life. Like, no, that's not the point. But notice, if you were able to get, okay, well, this is probably, maybe this is where it's coming from. Notice what does that do with you now? As you think about that situation of whomever made any judgmental comments or unsolicited advice, notice how that changes a little bit. Even a tiny bit, does it relieve some of that pressure? Now that you know where it's really coming from? Because this is the first step of rewiring the generational patterns, yeah? Finding, or not even finding the root. Sometimes we don't even find the root because there are people who will tell me, I don't remember anything from my childhood. Or there were so many situations. I cannot pinpoint the one. And that's the point. It's not about pinpointing the one situation when that all started. It's not about having any visual memories. About 30% of the clients we work with inside the Zen Supermom program, they don't remember anything before the age of 10. And that's okay. All we need to work with is how it feels to you now. So if you think about the last judgmental comment that really hurt you and that you spent days and weeks thinking about, like how you should respond back or what you should have said better or what do you want to do next? Like, do I call them? Do I send them a text message? Like, think about that. What started that conversation? How did that make you feel? And 99% certainty, I tell you, this is how you felt in the past. Okay, this is what it is. And so then all you need to do is to work with that little you inside, the younger part of you who got emotionally frozen back then. Okay, because that's who it is. What these people say to you now, even though you're an adult now, they basically turn you into a little kid in that moment. Yeah. And that's usually the first step that already relieves a lot of people. And this is the starting point when we need to get the work done with your nervous system so that the outcome that we want is that you still feel safe in your body, even in those conversations. You are able to see, okay, they are talking to me. I can hear them talk. And what I'm feeling in my body, I realize that's the little me from the past who wants to react. And I choose to stay in my adult self because I know. I don't need anybody else to know how much I'm doing. I don't feel like I need to defend or prove anything to anyone anymore. Because I know. And me knowing who I am, knowing what I'm doing, that's enough. I don't feel the need to go out there and justify. Even if they are judging me, even if it's the closest people, then let's make a decision. Are they toxic? I cut them off. Do I want to talk to them and set the boundary? Like, this was a hurtful comment and I wish like you wouldn't give me an advice. But doing that, the thing is you need to have that conversation from the adult you. The you who knows, who doesn't feel triggered by being judged, who doesn't feel triggered by not feeling good enough. If there's even a single part of you feeling like I deserve the judgment, or yes, they are right, I'm not good enough, I should try harder, then that's where the trauma bonding, the explosion, that's where the toxic, angry conversations and relationships then continue and escalate and get even worse. Okay, so how you can stop any toxic escalations and you feeling like you're being attacked by somebody else, the first step you need to do is to be able to be like stay in that calm, grounded adult presence, not have your what is sometimes called inner child come and have the conversation with them, because then it's it's like two kids talking. That's why even adult people start yelling and being angry, or even like worse, because in that moment they act like emotionally, they turn into two little children. So the first thing you can do, no matter what anybody else is doing, you need to stay in the adult awareness. And this is how, by rewiring that little you and realizing it's her. Okay? As an example, this is what I can tell you, because nobody is immune. We cannot wait for other people to change. We cannot wish and try to control the world around us so that nobody ever makes a judgmental comment or a snappy or giving you advice. Like, that's not realistic. This will keep happening no matter how hard you try, no matter how good you do in the world, how much care and love you spread. There might be always people who will get triggered by it in any way, or they will think they know better and they will come and try to tell you so that you get even better. It will keep happening no matter what. Yeah, I can tell you from my own example. I run a business, so I have a company with a team, and I'm doing a PhD connected to that because I want this generational repatterning. I feel like, why is not everybody doing that? Why are not all the psychologists and counselors doing that and having results in 3 months, right? So that's why I'm doing PhD, to kind of like sneak inside and do a research on it and show that this method is the fastest way to help people like stay being calm adults, no matter what pressure and judgment is outside. But so I have a business, I'm doing PhD, and of course I'm a mom, and I try to do my best for be present, emotionally present for my daughter, for my family. But in any single day, how much are you juggling, right? It feels like, of course you could do better in any of these. And of course, whenever you're at work, then people judge you for not being at home. Whenever you're at home, then people judge you for not doing enough for your work or for your school, if you're at school as well, or if you're doing any kind of like learning certifications. It's normal to feel like it will never be enough. And anyone from any of these groups can always come with a judgment like, yeah, that's why you're not doing, like for my studies, I have classmates who are reading so much more, and I can see it in their posts, and they're like, I'm so impressed how much they're doing. But then I realized, they don't have everything else going on as I do, right? So it would be easy to feel like I'm not good enough, I should be doing more here. Or then at my work, it would be so easy to feel triggered by being judged by people like, yeah, I am delegating more and more in my team. I'm not doing all the one-on-one sessions by myself. I'm not doing, I have a team. I delegate. And so it would be easy to get judged by, yeah, that's why you're not so present because you're doing so many other things, so you should come and do this. And I'm like, yeah, there will be people projecting their own stuff on you, and you can never do enough for them. Here's the permission granted to hear the voices outside telling you should be doing more and you should be doing better. There will always be people who will think that. There's no amount of you people-pleasing, hyper-achieving, controlling, perfecting. It will never be enough for some people. The only thing that will bring you peace is when you realize this is enough for me. I'm the only one who's not even a judge, because there's no point in you keeping judging yourself, because that as well is just a consequence of that little you. Yeah, if you're carrying around the strong inner critic voice, that's like the voice of your mom or your dad or whomever was strict, perfectionist, controller, hyperachiever, anything. It's high time to finish with that as well. Not even you want to be your own judge. Your peace and your steady, basically, I love the metaphor of driving a car. No matter how much you put your foot on the gas, the first step is to release the brake. This inner critic These voices outside, they are the brake. So no matter how much you're trying to push on the gas pedal, no matter how much energy and time you're putting on being the best at everything you're doing, if there is that inner judge in your head, if you let the criticism of and whatever unwanted feedback from the outside get to you, it will be like you having your foot on the brake pedal. So that's why the easiest, the only sustainable way, the only healthy way on how to actually feel like you can drive through your life with ease and more freedom is to release that gas pedal. Let go of that judgment and criticism. Stop taking it from the outside and stop judging yourself. And this is the first step. You need to stop judging yourself and stop listening to that inner critic inside. And this is how, by realizing that all of these voices in your head are coming from your childhood, it's time to let them expire. It's time to rewire that generational patterning that our parents, like the voices they try to put in our head. It's time to let that go. Yeah. Because in that moment, then you will hear the voices outside, blah, 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 blah. You will be able to take a breath. Feel that little you maybe making an appearance, saying it's okay, we are safe, we are doing more than good enough, you can go back, little me. And you will be able to respond with focus. Hearing what anybody has to say, taking pieces of it, if it is constructive feedback, taking it on, taking action on that. But if it's just their own noise, you will see it for what that is. You will put a mirror and you'll be able to see, well, whatever they are saying is just a reflection of what's going on inside them, their own fears, their own insecurities, their own judging of themselves. Yeah. And from that calm place, you will have a choice. Is this relationship worth it? Are they being too loud and noisy? Does it cost me too much energy to just like blocking them off with these mirrors? Or is it better to just snip, snip, snip? You will be able to make that choice. But make that choice from that calm, steady you. Don't make that choice from that trigger little girl who just wants to make it stop because she cannot take that judgment anymore. And then she escalates and she burns bridges and she breaks relationships, and then it actually creates even more drama and even more emotional pressure, and it takes even more of your energy to deal with the aftermath of that. Yeah. So that's why also inside the Zen Supermom program, the first step, we are really focusing on helping moms like stop yelling at the kids and clean up the relationship with the kids. And we hold off anything else. Yes, parents are extremely triggering, and especially if it's them who installed those inner critic voices in your head, right? But we don't do anything with that. If you want to deal with your parents, like we do it only afterwards, once you can stay calm and grounded. Because the women or the men, we have men inside the program as well, if they want to start handling these adult relationships before they get hold of their inner child, the little you, it usually causes even more drama and it makes things worse. Okay. That's why whatever relationship cleanup, whatever relationship boundaries you feel you want to set, you need to start with yourself first. Yeah. So that little you, the emotionally frozen you from the time machine, from the past, does not make even bigger mess out of that. Okay. The reward is, I can tell you, we had so many examples of moms who were able, some of them actually cut it. They were like, yeah, my mom was extremely abusive. I cannot change her. I'm not her therapist. I was setting a healthy boundary with calm. I have nothing but love for her. I don't blame her for anything, but I can't change who she is, and dealing with her on a daily basis when she's spewing nothing but like blah, I need to put my energy where it's needed the most. And that's my kids, my family, and my work and my mental health. Like, this is too much for me and I can't handle it. So then they decided to cut that relationship and like stop seeing each other so often. Don't go there for Christmas. And it's just like, let that relationship make it more distant so that it's not so close up in your face. That's a perfectly valid choice. But you do that with calm you, yes, with that adult self driving that conversation. Yeah. Then there are women who actually manage to turn it around. We had some of them who even started showing some of our videos and lessons and who started talking about the work they are doing with that little, like the inner child. They started talking about it with their own mom. And mom got triggered initially because it's like, yeah, are you blaming me for being a bad mom? Like, I gave you everything. I sacrificed so much for you, blah, 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 blah. They managed to calm their mom down and actually started having conversation. And we had moms who started practicing some of these like generational nervous system repatterning exercises as well. Yeah. So some parents, grandparents, they were open to that. Yeah. So it is possible. But you are in the driving seat. That's my message for you. You are in the driving seat. You have control. You have a big chunk of what's happening in those conversations is within your control. As long as you keep being the calm, steady, grounded adult and you don't let these emotions, that inner critic, that old hurt and pain of not being good enough, not feeling heard, not feeling seen, not feeling appreciated for who you are, all of that needs to heal first so that you can have safe, healthy adult conversations. And you can effectively shake off any judgment or pressure or unwanted advice from the outside, okay? This is the only healthy adult way how to deal with judgment and unwanted advice from the outside. Does that make sense? Yeah. I would love to hear from you. Wherever you're listening or watching this podcast, you probably have our email address. I would love to hear your story. Who is the person that's stealing your calm, that the conversation you had with them is resonating on repeat in your head? And what did you take from this podcast episode? What helped you? Did you realize it was the younger you showing up for that conversation? Were you able to identify where it started in your childhood? Or are you one of those who are like, yeah, my childhood is a blank box. I have no idea apart from what other people told me that happened. Let me know. Yeah, and we can have a little chat and a little conversation. And if you want to start and not just like talking about it, but you actually want to start taking action because you're ready to clean that up, then start with the first step, which is a Mami Tantrum Masterclass. That's where all of our clients start. And depending on when you will be signing up, it will be either pre-recorded or live. So just go there, register, it's free. And this is the first step where we talk about, well, how do we actually rewire these generational patterns? How come we can do it so fast? And what does it take? Yeah. So then I'm going to see you there. I'm sending you lots of peace. If anything got triggered in you, just like put the hand over your heart. If there were like big emotions stirred and like forgotten memories coming up from your childhood, so then let me help you come back to your adult self. If you're still feeling these emotions stirred up, put a hand over your heart and just start taking like some slower, deeper breaths and focus on feeling your heartbeat underneath your hand. Feel your heartbeat. Yeah. Underneath all of these like childhood layers and whatever, blah, blah, you know who you are. You know how much you care and how much time and effort and energy you're putting in it. You know. And it's more than enough. And it's enough Even if it's only you. You don't need anybody else's approval. Yeah. And if you don't believe that right now, there's a part of you who already knows it is true. And who wants to hope it is true. And I know that because you stayed with me till the end of this podcast episode. So connect with that part of you who already knows you are more than enough. Yeah. Keep feeling your heartbeat. Take the biggest breath you've taken today so far. Hold it on top for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then slowly. You're okay. You're doing more than good enough. And your kids are lucky to have you, because the fact that you're open, you're looking for the answers, you don't want to be in that angry, sad place. You are looking for ways how to build yourself up so that you can be the best, healthiest, safest role model for your kids. That tells me they are lucky to have you. Yeah. So I appreciate you for your courage. And I'm honored that you spend this time with me. And I cannot wait to hear from you. So until the next time, take care, Supermom.